What's up, y'all? It's me, part-time lyricist, back like I never left, but I actually really did. A lot of things to change. My life, my hair, where I'm at. I got my own apartment. I'm just a lot of things been moving for me, right? Uh, and this was supposed to be a music channel. I was posting shorts, gameplay videos, all that stuff, but I ended up not doing that. Just kind of took a little bit of a little hiatus, and I did a lot of stuff on my TikTok, but I said I want to be back active on YouTube. Might as well need to start. Just hit 30. You know, I'm big bro now. But with all things changing in my life, I really was just like, I want to use this kind of like as a diary. So this is one of my first like big videos back. And I'm probably gonna do one once a week just to start up, because I really want to just, like I said, use it as something to get started with. Today we're gonna be watching Maybe You Weren't Meant to Find Love. Now, when it comes to love, I know everybody think that you kind of for now you probably screwed up, you probably ain't right mentally, you don't get it. But genuinely, I think everybody deserves a chance. I think it's someone out there for everybody, unless you just like choose to not be worth it. But that's a whole nother video topic right there on that part. But I'm curious to see what they say. Come along with the journey with me. We finna find out what's going on, and maybe we find out that maybe I'm forever alone. Like, nah, I'm not. You might be, but I'm not. So let's start.
I actually don't remember what he... My neighbor at the corner of my street of my childhood home was the only house that had a pool in the backyard. I would go over there quite a lot, even had a mini diving board. And the owner of the house, which was one old guy, seemed to always be away. He was always traveling or something. And I never saw a woman come in or out of his house. When I asked my parents what he did, I actually don't remember what he did.
You know, it's kind of funny that he say that, because do y'all ever remember as a kid, like y'all just paid mad attention to stuff like that? You kind of became a lot more, you were just kind of either not aware at all, or you were just really hyper aware. Because this man just remember, like, I ain't never seen nobody leave his house. I just think it's kind of crazy, because I remember as a kid, I used to always people watch like mad heavy and just be like, I wonder what they doing. Never knew like the concept of what they doing, but you know, you feel me? Like, you just kind of be like, hey, that giant, like, I can peep the vibes kind of early, but let's keep going.
But I did ask my parents, like, does he have a family? Like, where is his family? He's living in this huge house alone. They said, yeah, he's basically living the bachelor life. That's how he's always lived. He's
that nigga
probably
alone,
in his 40s, unmarried. And that's just how his life unfolded. It made me think of a video I stumbled across recently on the internet of Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG. A lot of you guys know him if you like self-improvement type of stuff, where he had a conversation a year or two back with a guy who paid $50,000 on dating coaches and still had no partner.
$50,000 to learn how to talk to people? Like, golly, some people, I just be wondering what, like, how hard is it, you know? Like, just imagine, someone dropped 50 bands on you telling you, can you teach me how to talk to somebody? Now, it's a lot deeper. I understand that completely, but it just feels so funny to me to think that, not in like a ha-ha way, but just crazy to be thinking and imagining that somebody really spent 50,000. But we got people talking to Fresh and Fit though, so they be paying for meet and greet. So I ain't really surprised by nothing at this point.
Now, of course, there's something to be said about what dating coaches teach and whether their efficacy is effective, whether they're really effective regarding deeply internal issues regarding your self-image. Like dating coaches, I don't know many who are going to help with that. But both of those,
I always feel like if you going into a dating coach, it might do more harm than good, because now you ain't them. You know, that's like when people look at a blueprint and they try to, if a lot of people be glazing Duke dinners, right? A lot of folks look at Duke and say, okay, I'm gonna follow the same method to it, but you're not him though. You don't, or you're not this other celebrity. You're not a Michael B. Jordan. You're not this. So I feel like from a dating coach perspective, if the dating coach looks like Hitch, like Will Smith, like, and you think you finna walk up to a girl, you ain't 6'4", you ain't chiseled line, you don't have a fresh cut, you ain't got the physique for it. You know, you different. So I feel like sometimes going to a dating coach could really be more harm than good because it kind of give you that false sense of confidence because now you thinking it's just all about the words when in actuality, I mean, it's about how you look. Why you think we go to the gym for do all this other stuff? And you know that's why you think you get your girls get nails done. Why you think boys be like, let's go work out? What people care about, it matters how you look. Like I could act like a dating coach, but it may not work out, you know, because that ain't I'm not them.
Situations and people highlight a phenomenon that I feel happens within our world where some people, no matter how hard they try, no matter how much effort they put in, because of who they are, they just have a really tough time finding love. And you got to ask the question, is it something these people are doing, or are they just not meant to find love right now or ever? And how could they possibly live with that? Some people seem to be.
I want to make a comment, but I'm gonna come back to that because that's a lot of intrinsic and not intrinsic, but that's a lot of like internal this conversations you have with yourself. And I'm gonna let it keep going. My bad.
Perfectly okay with this type of lifestyle. They eventually give up, you know, the whole men going their own way movement. They fill up their free time with other things that are pleasurable, with meaningful hobbies and pursuits and passions. And they get the joy and love out of life through what they themselves do with their actions or with friends.
See that one always feel weird to me though. Like, you know that you hear all the time a nigga gonna sit there and say, "Hey man, I'm trying to build an empire." Not saying that you know you don't get no joy out of it, but at the end of the day, fam, like this young lonely still. Like you gonna be alone at the top. I see people more folks be happy with loved ones and genuinely being happy with people than being with their hobbies. Like you can be immersed with it. It's good. It's a good line between my bad, not thin line of you knowing yourself and you comfortable with yourself, and then you just alienating other people. Not alienating other people because technically he did say that you still have friends and stuff to be active with. So that's a form of love in itself. So it kind of confused me when people like say like romantically I can't find nothing, but you still have love in your life. Like maybe you don't end up dating somebody, but you got friends, you got family, you got like maybe kids, you know? Like that's an unconditional love, like for they babies, but you have so many other outlets of love that it kind of that's what this question kind of go into with me.
Everybody needs community. Everybody needs social connection. And you need to feel like you belong somewhere and you're a part of something. I believe most people do if you really want to feel the most fulfilled and at peace and happy on a general basis in this life. But some people, no matter how hard they try, which I've come across on the internet and in my comments, they just can't find love. Well, I don't think it's the case most of the time that you'll never find love. But maybe this is a sign for you to take a step back from that area of your life and instead focus on doing a bunch of different things not related to creating a bond with just
That I agree with. I think that again, like I said, if you are at a point in your life right now to where you realize that you cannot keep a healthy relationship, start one, do anything like that, look in. Like look inside yourself. Because at some point I'm big on therapy, right? Um and just having people like other folks to talk to and just kind of clearing your mental out. Like you definitely gotta before you even think about dating somebody, doing this for somebody else, take a step back, reassess yourself, come back to it, learn yourself, and then that's when you able to entertain more people. You feel me?
one other person. There's a lot of taboo around that within our culture still, although it's becoming a lot less not accepted. It's becoming a lot more accepted to be single at a later age, to not settle, although I think our definitions for settling have become a bit muddled, and to really wait for that perfect person to come by. That's not really the type of people I'm talking about.
Now with people like that, I find it funny because you go your whole life waiting for that perfect person, and that perfect person doesn't ever come because of the stages you are in your life right now. What was perfect to me at 21 ain't perfect to me at 25, ain't perfect at me at 30, but they were perfect. They may be perfect for me at 35. Like you, that's why it's so big for you to learn yourself. And also, like you said, society then muddled like the definition of love. Like especially they now in this generation, it's a very give and take thing. Like it's very transactional. Which, to be fair, let's be real, love is conditional. Like relationships are conditional because if you fail on your conditions, I hate when folks say like black men don't get conditional. It's only when it's conditional. Every love when you an adult is conditional. I'm telling you, my guy. Like let's be real, because if your girl ain't doing something for you, what's the first thing you gotta do? You gonna think about you gotta leave because the conditions ain't being met that was previously set in place, right? So I feel like at the we have to as a society realize that like there are conditions. We have to uphold these conditions. And it's not bad to walk away from them for a second, but to hold out for your perfect person who, let's say, they finna drop mad money on you, or the girl that's gonna sit over there and submit. If you into that, I ain't we doesn't. No, I ain't talking about that. But if you into that and you looking for that, you're not gonna find that, G. Because honestly, what if you can't even appreciate that? Like that's another thing we talk about. Like you can't even appreciate like the person who doing all this stuff for you. You may end up cheating on them, disrespecting them, not looking at them as a valuable partner. You know what I mean? Like so chill out. Like don't let society dictate what you like.
The people who have this warped perception of settling, and they say they can't find anybody, and yet the problem really is that they have a lot of great options. And if they truly wanted to dedicate themselves to someone, it would just require a lot of work between them and that person. And they'd have to deal with some internal struggles and realize that love really only gets developed. And I keep reiterating this point through my videos, tweets, and stuff like that. Love really only gets developed through adversity, through conquering things, through getting to know the other person better, which usually begins through some sort of triggering process where
Agreed. You only really like love only really starts going when y'all folks like can overcome an issue. Like when I realized that I couldn't handle communication, instead of just going off and not even like thinking about it and just letting it go, be whatever it is, and just hopping on to the next thing. Be like, well, if we ain't talking cool, I'm just gonna dip. Like I realized that I have to be more attentive, be more. They made me realize that. Like they made me realize that hey, you got to be more intentional, be more aware of what you're saying, what you're doing, how you talking, and be there for your partner. Like those issues came up. Like with my girl, it's like when we fight, we'll fight, but then we try to come to it immediately and be like, hey, like let's talk it out. Like we don't need to let that just sit because if it sit, it may come to tomorrow, next day, the day after that. So it's a lot of things. You get better, you get stronger through adversity. That also goes into relationships too.
the person does something you don't like that wasn't something you grew up with, but they see as totally harmless. It triggers you. And at first you're like, you try to explain it to them in a really hostile way. And you're like, what the fuck is that about? But then you realize, okay, this person grew up in a completely different household than me, completely different upbringing. I need to have some grace here and communicate why this aspect of a relationship is so important to me and why I would like them to change this behavior. There's people like that who never get to that stage. But that's not even really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who never seem to find love, even if they've done all the work on themselves, even if they truly do love themselves. They're confident. They're the guy or girl or whoever who everybody hangs around, who everybody enjoys being in their presence. And people tell them all the time, hey, you're the fucking funniest guy I know. I have plenty of friends like that who are like super cool and confident, and everybody likes them, but they have serious troubles dating. Well, maybe you're just not meant to do that. At least.
So I feel like at that point, if you perception ain't reality. You know what I mean? Like, I know my boss at the bank, she be like, perception is reality. Fuck no, man. Like, perception is what we let it be. Like, I've seen niggas right now that look mad happy and be going through it and through life, I mean. And they be so happy. You look at them, they so carefree. Bro, they took themselves out. You know what I mean? Like, in my personal, on the news, we see that. Like, so just because the perception ain't reality, you know, it's a part of it, but it ain't the whole thing of reality, though.
Right now, to pursue dating and try so hard, scrolling endlessly or swiping endlessly through these dating apps and going on all these dates and nothing coming out of it, maybe you should take a step back. Maybe you shouldn't think you need this certain area of your life to be developed, at least right now, in order to feel whole, in order for your life to have some sort of meaning behind it. It's a serious problem with people. They get so attached to the idea of being in love with another person and devoting more of their life to that person that they neglect all other areas of their life until this area of their life is developed. Now I want to tie this to.
And see, that's the thing about loving somebody more than you love yourself. Like, for one, that's cool because it can work if the other person loves you the same way. But you should never lose your identity when you're in a relationship. I think that's a reason why people be afraid of. They think that if they hop into a relationship, they start dating somebody, then they lose their sense of self. That ain't gonna happen. It shouldn't happen. Let me preface that. That should not happen. Could it happen? 100%, because I've definitely been not myself, but I am, insert my partner's name, boyfriend. Like, it could have subconsciously did something to me because, like, I didn't think that I was like a person at that point. I'm just like, they're an extension of them. So I felt like I didn't have like myself. I didn't know who I was, because my whole identity is wrapped up in whoever I'm dating. I don't have none of myself, so I had to take that step back and learn who I am, and I'm still developing that, learning who I am, because if you choose to date, you need to know who you are, because at some point, you if nothing else is developed, what can you give to your partner?
To another scenario that can be seen in the same vein, which is finding your passion or finding your number one purpose in life. This is another instance where people never find that thing. They never find that one thing to dedicate their life to, in the same way that they never find that one person to build a life with. And again, in our culture, this is becoming less taboo, and people are able to explore their options more and really find a job that they wake up every day and think, wow, I'm so blessed to be able to do this.
Nigga, I wish never mind. We're gonna keep going.
And dedicate a large portion of my life to this. But there are some people who they keep trying all these different interests. And I used to be someone who preached the idea of, like, if you haven't found your passion yet, you just haven't done enough things. You haven't explored enough of life, of what life can give you. But a lot of people do, and they never are able to still find that passion. And it wasn't until I came across this one Instagram reel that was just a text with some cool background. And the text said something along the lines of, what if your purpose is to try as many things as you can and to experience all these different flavors of life and never commit yourself to one thing so rigidly, so you can change your identity and be more fluid and see what more of this life has to offer. And perhaps we can apply.
I mean, that ain't wrong. Like, I feel like to be fluid in so many spaces and faces is incredible. But like I was the same way because I used to pride myself on the ability to where I can go into a conversation here, talk about sports, go into a conversation here, talk about anime, go into a conversation here, talk about politics, here, boom, 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 boom. And it was like I was experiencing so much. But at some point when you wear so many masks experiencing going through boom, you may lose the person under the mask. You know what I mean? Like because you keep experiencing so much part of life. That's your purpose, which is cool. You know, the purpose of everybody's life is to live. Don't get me wrong, but just always remember that is you still gotta have your own identity because now your identity is not you, but this a stance here, 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 and here. And sometimes you take on those personalities, those traits, which I mean you're supposed to because you learn it. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is that like you can be lost in the sauce low key. Like, cause I have definitely started acting a little different. I'm like, shit, that ain't even me. Like low key, I ain't never been this way. I ain't never want to be this way. I was just in a space that kind of pulled it out of me, you know. So you gotta be strong. You got if you gonna take this approach to life, you gotta be strong.
That same method of thinking to love and dating, not in the sense that you go bouncing around from partner to partner, because I would hate to see that for anybody. And staying at a surface level relationship with a bunch of people and having all these situationships is something I am going to critique in my next main channel video. There's got to be a very particular way that you would do this where it would make sense. Because if you are going to be leading people on due to the advice I'm going to give you, you're going to be leading people on, you're not going to be clear with your intentions when you go out to date different people, then I would say you really shouldn't be doing this at all.
Facts. Like you don't waste nobody time. Bro, don't waste nobody time. Like if you feel like you finna start, you don't even know your intentions for real. Like when you go out there and you be like, I'm trying to find it. Make sure somebody who you talk to is on the same wavelength. Because I've seen folks talk to girls who they said from the jump they want marriage, right? They want marriage, but you ain't trying to do all that. So why you finna entertain this situation? Or like if a girl sit here and say, well, I'm looking for somebody who finna take me out, who finna do this 5-star restaurant, woo, 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 and you ain't finna do that. Why you gonna waste her time? She ain't wrong for wanting what she wants. She not. That's her preference. Everybody got their own preference. No, can you debate it? No, because well, sometimes you can, but if that's her preference, respect her preference. But you need to learn, and this goes for men and women. Learn what you want by yourself, and then of course go out and experience it. And sometimes what you really want ain't you can piece it together, but just make sure your intentions with that person from the start is established. That's all I'm saying.
And it'll only do more harm than good, and will only leave you heartbroken, and will only leave another person heartbroken. No, we need a very particular method for doing this. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I hit the record button, I didn't know what this is going to be, and I'm going to have to figure it out right now. What I'm thinking now is your intention for the person who can't find that one person to fall in love with and be intimate with is to apply the same sort of try a bunch of different things through different activities and clubs with the added pursuit of meeting a lot of people and making these really deep connections with a group of close friends or multiple groups of close friends who all have differing ideas and interests. I think this is how you become a
That's facts. Like my own personality made me lose the group of people I had, right? And when I look back at how I acted, despised it, hated how I acted, right? So now that circle that was like real big, real small now. You feel me? And with every conversation, it's more It is intentional. Every experience is meaningful. Everything. It's not just to do something, just to do it. I surrounded myself with people that love me, that cherish me, that ride for me. And likewise, I do the same for them. So I do agree. If you cannot feel that way, find some people in what you like to do, and with the intention of getting to know more people, because it'll come naturally. Like always, stay open to it. It's really just being open to it.
Well-rounded individual. First off, I think having friends who have a bunch of different ideas and ideologies and philosophies on life really allows you to stay open-minded and makes you become a better critical thinker, because you don't get trapped in some sort of echo chamber with just one friend group who believes, let's say, you got to wake up at 5 a.m., take cold showers, get in the sauna every day in order to be healthy and to be successful. And the other group that believes it doesn't even fucking matter and you can wake up at 3 p.m. and still be successful. And these are people who really don't care about making a ton of money, and they're more the creative types. Having that, I believe.
So I'm a hard worker, right? Like I be working like 1, 2, 3 jobs sometimes. Like if I'm working a job and doing DoorDash and Lyft, working 2 jobs doing Lyft, that's me. I got a homeboy named Noah. That man does not work. He has not had a job in like a few years. And it's funny when we talk about stuff like this, because to him, this man, to the point he was just like, I don't even want to date because they're gonna expect shit from me. Yeah, but he don't date though. He be like, I don't want to date, and he know he finna waste somebody's time. I respect him on that, because if you ain't finna do what you need to do to be a partner, then don't include nobody else. But I just find it funny because me and him ideologies are so different. But he's helped me though, because I used to be so absorbed in work that, and it messed this up. It messed me wanting to be creative. It messed me up with my music. It messed me up with my with YouTube and with streaming. It messed me up for years. Like 25 and like a past prime, like I said in the beginning, like with my song, that was 5 years ago, finna be 6 for me. And it stopped because I kept doing other stuff. Like I let my dreams die. While he can't even afford his dream because he don't have the money for it. But he's living a way happier life out in Austria, living it up. Man, it's good. Man, it's straight. Me, I'm working in stress. So just 2 different ideologies. He learned from me. Like he learned he got to put some work in, but he chose to do that same work, that 9 to 5 that I do. He do that to his craft. I respect it.
I believe is such a beautiful expression of life. Life itself is full of a lot of different perspectives, and people often get caught in their own perspective due to their own upbringing. And like I've explained earlier in this video, that can cause some trouble with relationships, because people act or think differently than you, and they might be doing it with good intentions behind it and doing things to the best of their ability, but they're totally ignorant to it. And that could be you within relationship contexts as well, and romantic relationship contexts. And so now I think this is why this is so effective. Exploring more different friend groups, different areas, expanding your horizons with who you are seeing and talking to on a daily basis, not only is going to relieve some of that pressure you might be putting on yourself to find love, but also to help you become a more well-rounded individual, so that if the time...
That should help you with small talk too. Like I hate in this generation now where folks be saying like, oh, I don't know how to make small talk. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to converse. Like you don't know how to have a conversation. Like to the ability to have a conversation should not be it is an art form, don't get me wrong, but to just not have the ability to talk to people, that's crazy to me. Like just if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But you also should be adult enough, I guess, or a person enough to be able to just have a simple conversation with somebody. That's how you meet people, you know what I mean? Or you could be around an extrovert who do all the work for you.
Comes so that if someone comes around and you two are falling for each other and it starts to develop, when the time comes where you get triggered by something or she gets triggered by something, you've spent so much time deepening connections with platonic relationships in other areas of your life that you know how to handle this when it comes to romantic relationships. There's a very harsh trend going on in our culture right now, I believe, where we're very unforgiving. We find it very hard to not see human beings as replaceable and dispensable because of the way that social media and these dating apps commodify relationships and people and see them as just physical entities. And I think really deepening more relationships with different types of people in real life is when you start to gain a much needed perspective that makes romantic relationships not as necessary, but also, like I said, gives you the necessary skill set to deal with issues if you are to get into a romantic relationship and find yourself in love out of nowhere. And I think that's what's going to happen to these types of people who try so hard to find love, and they're putting in so much effort to work on themselves, and they're super confident, and they're like 6'2", they're shredded. I'm talking about it in a guy's scenario who's looking for a girl or another dude, who knows. And they just can't find anyone who's attracted to them or that they really vibe with. Those types of people, I think, will have better luck using the approach that I described here, which
They would. I mean, because again, you know how to talk to people. You know how to deal with people. Like, just because there's someone who's in a relationship and then a friend of yours, though a lot of the similarities of how you communicate with them are still there. Because you're not going to be rude to your friend. You're not going to be disrespecting your friend. You're not going to make discredit what they saying. You're not going to do that stuff with them. But then you feel like you'll do mental gymnastics to maybe do it to your guy or do it to your girl. And see, that's not what you do. You can hold your partners and your friends to separate standards because they mean more. One is your mate, the other one's your friend. But there are a lot of similarities of just simple like talking to them, learning them, doing things like that. So the person who took the time to learn people, talk to folks, get that necessary skill set to be able to have communication and have understanding, to give grace, to realize that, hey, I may be from this background, or this person is showing me love. They're showing me love in their own unique way. Not the way that I want it, but it matters a lot because they're showing it to me in their way. That person has a lot more success than the one who didn't.
goes against a little bit what I said in my video about it's not what everyone gets wrong about love. It's a video for hopeless romantics on my main channel. And I explained in that video how a lot of people say, oh, stop looking for love and you'll find it. And how I thought that was kind of bullshit. But I'm realizing now that's not terrible advice, depending on what you do with that advice for the types of people who are trying really hard to find love, but feel like they'll never find it after 50 rejections, 100 different dates, and still they
Yeah, I'll be free. I'm on my way home.
Okay, I'm gonna call you right back.
All right, go ahead.
All right, bye. And I'm gonna keep that John in the video.
could find nobody that they really could see themselves building a life with, or the other person just didn't want to continue the relationship with them. That approach might be worth a try. And the final thing I'll say, and this will put your mind at ease once you get to this state permanently.
Hi, it's Mark Barden from Sandy Hook Promise. The shooter who murdered my sweet little
My
family
bad, y'all. My
brought me-
bad.
You have to be okay with potentially never finding a partner. How would life look like being the person that is okay with that? What would make life worth continuing?
But see, I find it funny because the person who is like that, they will, they will find a partner. The person who is that loving, open, who surrounds himself with people. I mean, they possibly can. Like, don't get me wrong, but the chances of you not finding a loved one and you're like that statistically has to be like bar none. You know what I mean? It has to be so low that you can't find anybody, and you putting yourself in spaces like that. So we got hope.
If you were to never find the one, that person, you have to answer these questions. Or else every day is going to feel like agony until you try to force yourself into some relationship. You have to be okay with the potential that you may never find that one person. And that's not to be some doomer. It's to get you to focus on other areas of your life, at least for right now, and to develop the self-confidence and endurance.
I think a better way to look at it, in my opinion, is that he's right. He's not saying he's wrong. This is Cole Hastings. He's done an incredible job explaining it. But for my personal opinion, like I said, I think that the best way to go about life is always to put yourself, your personal growth in the forefront. Because when you get to that point of lust doesn't control you, the want for money, the want for power, the ego, the pride, when those things don't control you, you're unstoppable. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can be almost whatever you want. You'll have like you said, the mental endurance and the ability to like keep it trucking if you put your like self growth, personal growth forward and lead with that in everything you do. That's why I feel like it's kind of it can happen where like, hey, I know I want somebody, I want to be married, but what I'm gonna keep doing in the meantime now is I'm gonna make myself better. I'm gonna put myself in a better way, teach myself better, learn better, do better, so I can be ready for that partner because I know I'm gonna get one because I'm knowing I'm doing the steps. I know I'm outside like that. I know I ain't. It ain't no such thing as not doing it. I mean, I ain't gotta worry about that now, but back then, when I was single, I had to, but not to flex.
To be able to endure a life in which you find deep, deep relationships, but only within platonic settings. And you got to be okay with that. And there is a way to do that right now. It's going to take a lot of work on your end. And through exploring different platonic relationships with vastly different people and expanding your sense of self by exposing yourself to people with different lifestyles, you become a more well-rounded person. And also, you get that sense of true connection that you're probably searching for within a romantic partner.
And I'm gonna end it right here, y'all, because it's only got a few minutes left. Go ahead, a few seconds left. My bad. Check it out. It's like, look at it at your own leisure. Incredible video. All in all, I just want to sit here and say, like, look, if you out there thinking that you can't find love, I'm positive that you can. Just be positive that you can. Just open yourself up to people, not because you want to find somebody, but just open yourself up for community. Open yourself up to learn. Open yourself up for growth, and you'll be fine. While also remembering that you got to be worth something yourself. So make sure that the chubby dude who may feel like he can't find somebody may end up finding the baddest girl ever because of his mental fortitude. While the dude who's shredded, he ain't got nobody. He go home and just goon every day because he never learned self-control and things like that. He ain't gonna end up with nobody. And you may, in your head, you may think like, dang, that won't make sense because of the way they look. But that, because I did say before, that does play a part. But it also goes into like the level of understanding and control and your ability to read the room and understand what's going on. So, because it helped me out. it has been to my detriment and my betterment when I did these things and explored it. Like, I'm paying the price for it now, but at the end of the day, life keeps going. And I went along with the punches. I went and did what I had to do. I got faith that you're gonna do the same. The person watching this video, hope it finds you well. I love you. I appreciate you. Part-time lyricist. Thank you.
I'm in the process